starting a new campaign here with trying to help small businesses grow here locally, and I figured what better way to start than Mitten Mortgage Lending and my boss, good friend Chris Sbonek here. So, Chris, thanks for taking the time to sit with me and
Of course.
chat
Thanks for
about your
having me.
journey as starting a mortgage brokerage a few years back. So, tell us, what is Mitten Mortgage Lending and what services do you guys provide,
So,
or do
Mitten,
we provide, should I say?
yeah, we provide. Yeah, it's definitely not just me. So, Mitten Mortgage Lending. Obviously, we're a local mortgage broker here in downtown Wyandotte. We've been in business 5 years now. We are a mortgage broker, but I like to say like we are really a customer service business. I feel like that's what we do. We care. Everybody that work if you don't care, you don't work here. Everybody that works here cares so much about our clients and just their experience, and beyond just our clients, our partners too, realtors, title companies, anybody we work with, we really want them to have a good, memorable experience working with Mitten Mortgage Lending. It was essentially founded on the idea that you don't have to pay a ton of money to receive good service. I started at Quicken Loans back in 2012. Learned a ton. Super thankful for my training and everything that I received there. But um, it was definitely anywhere in the retail space for mortgages is significantly more expensive for the consumer, for the borrower. And after leaving there, I was fortunate enough to work for United Wholesale Mortgage, largest wholesale lender in the country now, and got to open my eyes a little bit to the other side of mortgages, not just the retail side, the wholesale side, which was significantly cheaper, significantly faster, really just a way better experience for the borrower. Um,
And what differentiates the retail side from the broker side, which we are?
So yeah, super good question. It's always not crystal clear to people. So when I think retail, I think of someone that works at a bank or a mortgage company that can only offer you terms and rates from that mortgage company. So we'll use your bank. Let's use Chase Bank, or maybe they're not your bank. Let's use Chase Bank for an example. If you go talk to someone at Chase Bank and you're looking for a mortgage from Chase Bank, they're going to offer you the rate, the terms, the costs, the fees that Chase Bank has to offer. If you give us a call here at Mitten Mortgage Lending, we're signed up with multiple different lenders. And so what that means for you is we can take your credit, your information, and we can shop it amongst multiple different lenders to see who has the best rate with the best costs, or maybe the combination. Maybe some have really good rates, but they're expensive. Some have bad rates, but they're cheap. How do we find the balance between the best rate you can get for the best cost that you can pay for it? The good news is, though, we can shop all over for you instead of just offering you one thing that the retail bank has to offer. So what that really does is obviously opens us up to flexibility, but a lot of banks or any institution will kind of have a niche product, right? So certain places will be really good at conventional, but if you're getting an FHA loan, that place might not have a good FHA loan for you. Whereas we are signed up with all these different lenders. These guys might be really good at FHA. These guys might be really good at conventional. These guys might be really good at VA. But whatever the case is, we can kind of take your info where we need it, so that our borrowers can really save a lot of money at the end of the
Right.
day.
It's beautiful with the experience you have and I have as well, where um, we kind of have figured out those buckets with the amount of production that we've done. So
Yeah,
we know kind of where to go, where to pick and choose these things. So
our volume and our production really opens up a lot of doors for us, which really isn't for us; it's for our borrowers. But
mhm.
yeah, because of the volume that we do, we have we have the best relationships with all the lenders that we work with, because of the volume that we do and the quality of work that we do too. They know if we send them a file, it's going to be a good file, that we've kind of already vetted it out, and it's going to be quick. Yeah, so for the last 3 years now, we've been a top 20 brokerage in the state of Michigan. So being inside the top 20, cracking that top 20, doing the volume that we do, really gives us some leverage with our lenders, which obviously we get to pass along those savings to our clients.
Yeah, and it's absolutely huge too, especially locally. I know it hasn't been our MO to do a whole lot of marketing, and I think we've simply just gotten away as a company with doing a good job over a long period of time and just organically growing. Speak to that a little bit and about the people that work here and
Yeah, so you're spot on with that. We really haven't done a lot of marketing. We don't do a ton of marketing. We are doing, as you know, and obviously we're sitting here. We're doing a little bit more marketing, right? But uh, I like to keep us busy doing what's important, which is taking care of our clients, finding deals. Like learn. The mortgage market right now is changing more than I've ever seen it change.
Yeah.
Starting in 2012, there's been more change in the last, I mean, really since COVID, but really in the last 6 to 12 months, as you obviously know, things have been changing so drastically. So rather than spending our time and energy, I don't know, making a lot of TikToks, we spend a little bit more time learning and closing our borrowers' loans in less than 3 weeks. But marketing is picking up a little bit. The thing for us and what we've been super fortunate in so far is we haven't had to do a lot of marketing. Our marketing, which is doing a good job and taking care of our clients, kind of speaks for itself. Our clients always refer us to their friends, their family. You get a lot of repeat business out of that. So it's marketing, but in a different way. It's marketing by what I say is just doing our job very well and doing it the right way, which at the end of the day is I think all that anybody really
Yeah,
wants.
no doubt.
They want to know that they can confidently go shop for a home, close on the home, get it in time, and all while not overpaying either,
Yeah.
while also getting a good rate. Because you know it may not seem like a lot, but if we can save you $1,000 or $1,500 on your purchase, I mean that's a couch and a kitchen table.
Right. Yeah,
So
no
so
doubt.
you're
Or that new flat screen that you've been
or
dreaming
the new
about.
flat screen, yeah, the new OLED 4K. I don't know what the technology is these days,
Right, right, right.
but yeah, exactly. And it's crazy to me. It's not that crazy to me, but it's crazy how expensive and how much junk fees a lot of these mortgage lenders charge. That was one of the biggest things when I started Mitten Mortgage Lending. I personally hate junk fees on anything. It doesn't have to be on a mortgage. It could be on
Yeah.
anything. Just the processing fee or the this
Go
or the
buy a new
that or
car.
yeah,
There's,
whatever. Yeah. You buy a new car and the price is here, but wait, there's more.
dock fees,
There's
whatever
twenty
they
five
want to
hundred
throw in
dollars
there.
in fees and there's a
Right.
windshield wiper fee and whatever. We don't have any. I don't really see us ever having any. There's no need.
Yeah.
There's plenty of room in the mortgage space for us to make a good living, provide for our employees, have a good place to work, do all those things, and still give clients a deal. And I mean, our Google reviews really speak for themselves. That's where I can tell anybody over and over and over again how awesome we are and how great we are. But until you jump online and read our Google reviews and read our Facebook reviews and realize that they're all 5 stars
Yeah.
and they're
They're from multiple. They're
they're
from everybody that's
they're
worked here
all
has
over
one.
the map. You've got people that bought $1 million homes. You've got people that bought $60,000, $70,000 homes. But it doesn't matter
Yeah.
because they're all our clients. And at the
Hmm.
end of the day, we're doing our job for them, which is getting them not only the best deal that we can get, but also giving them the service. If you have a question on your mortgage, like a lot of companies don't want you to call them. They
Hmm.
don't want to talk to you because that takes up time. But we want you to fully understand
The
everything that's going
education
on. Yeah,
process.
there shouldn't be a lot of questions. This is, I mean, gosh, in some cases, $1 million investments, right? I mean, most everybody I know, their home is the largest investment that they have. So you should have some questions when
Right.
you're buying it. Like
Yeah.
that's totally okay. And if you're working with someone who won't let you ask questions about it,
It's
it's
concerning. Yeah. I
concerning.
mean,
It's
it's
scary.
especially locally. It's majority of most people's biggest financial investment, and they should know what they're getting into and know their options, whether it's a 30 or 15-year cash out, whatever you're trying to do for
And when it comes to finance and when it comes to banking, it's meant to be confusing.
them. Hmm.
It's meant to not be understood. It's meant to not be understood. It's meant to not be in layman's terms. But we always try, or the way that I've always trained our employees is to really simplify it.
Hmm.
If you know what you're looking at when you're looking at a loan estimate and you break it down, there's a lot of smoke and mirrors. There's a lot of places where other lenders will put lower numbers, where we'll actually put higher numbers. We
Hmm.
we tend to be very conservative and overestimate a lot of things.
Hmm.
It's much better when we get to call our clients at the end of the day and say, hey, we estimated about $500 high. You actually need 500 less than we thought you did versus
The other
calling
way.
them the other way. But and that's just how it is. We want everyone to fully know what's going on and be over prepared for it. But at the end of the day, we love to teach people and show people. I had a conversation with a lady this morning. I taught her how to shop for a mortgage. She was
Mhm.
shopping for a mortgage, which is fine. She was shopping me amongst other lenders, but she didn't know what she was shopping. She was comparing taxes and insurance, things that are going to be the same no matter who she uses.
Mhm.
But the other lender was lowballing them because it made their
It made
numbers
their
look
numbers look
better.
better. Yeah.
And I actually overshot them. So it actually made my numbers look worse. But when I showed her the sections of the loan that are controlled by the lender and what the fees actually are, I think we were $1,300 or $1,400 cheaper for the same thing.
Right. Right.
But if you put all the smoke and mirrors in the way, it can get very confusing. And she would have been confused, and she probably would have made the wrong decision. But I'm happy to say she didn't.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Absolutely. Now take me back to young Chris Sbonek and his journey. You know, I've had the pleasure of knowing you since I think I was a freshman in high school. We played golf against each other. I went to Wyandotte. You played in Southgate.
yep,
We were a little bit of rivals, but friendly rivals. You know, I know a lot of
yeah.
your friends just through that. But what did you ever picture yourself? Because a lot of people, you know, they're trying to figure out their journey in life, and they want to relate to people, right? So like me, I mean, I'm a criminal justice major sitting here doing mortgages for a living, but like, what did you work a lot as a kid? Like, did you always have that little bit of a hustle mentality? Like, take me through growing up to where you're at now.
Yeah, so it's funny because a lot of things have changed, but when I really think back, like not a lot actually has
Right,
changed.
right.
So one common theme that I have from as far back as I can remember is just working a ton.
Hmm.
Always working more than one job and always working more than 40 hours a week. Not, I don't know, I can't say I didn't enjoy it. I mean, I can't really ever think back to a time where I was so miserable working
Yeah,
so many
depends on the
hours.
work
Yeah,
too, right?
it totally depends on the work, and there's plenty of other things that are going on, but always working multiple jobs. Yeah. I mean, still to this day, I obviously work multiple jobs. So, when I say a lot hasn't changed, it hasn't changed, but, um, yeah, just always kind of having a job and then a weekend or an evening or something else to do. And then getting out of college, went to University of Michigan in Ann Arbor, had,
Go
had,
blue.
had a lot of fun. Yep. Go blue. Um, had a lot of fun, learned a ton. I would say like 99% of it was not in the classroom. Was always pretty good at school, never really liked it. But it wasn't because I didn't like learning. It was just because knowing now, looking back, I had just almost zero interest in what I was learning about.
Hmm.
So I went to U of M. I graduated with my degree in neuroscience, which has been super useful to me. um, yeah, very useful.
Just as useful as my criminal justice degree.
Yeah, exactly. Both of those degrees are getting put to work right now. But obviously, like I said, the bulk of what I learned in college wasn't in the classroom. The plan was to go to medical or dental school. I was dead set on it, so much to the point that even when I graduated college, that was still my plan.
Hmm.
Um, but one big thing that I did want to pay attention to when I graduated college was not just burying myself in student loan debt. Working multiple jobs through school. I worked in the cafeteria. I worked at the M Card Center, did student IDs. I worked at Rick's and bartended at Rick's for door guy and bartended at Rick's for a while. Shout out to my Rick's people. Um, so always working multiple jobs. Graduated while going to school and taking
Yeah.
a full course. So I graduated in
Right.
4 years. Was able to get out of school thanks to some scholarships, my hard work, and some help from my parents without any student loan debt,
Nice. That's huge.
which was super exciting to me. However, knowing that I wanted to go back to medical or dental school, I knew that was going
That's gonna
to
be on you.
put a ding on the whole student loan thing.
Right.
So thought about it for a little while, and I was like, what can I do to kind of alleviate some of the pain of just racking up. I worked so hard for 4 years to not get in student loan debt.
Hmm.
I couldn't just jump into student
Right.
loan debt
Yeah.
essentially. So I was like, what can I do? I ended up talking with some buddies, and one of them suggested Quicken Loans. They were like, dude, you should go try out. You should go try it out, see how it goes, see if you like it. Had heard of and knew some other people that kind of worked there that it was going well for. So I said, hey, why not? The summer after, after the summer, graduated, spent the summer in Ann Arbor, and then ended up moving back home to Southgate.
Hmm.
Actually, moved back into my parents' basement and filled out an application to go work at Quicken Loans, and started at Quicken Loans and stayed there for 2 years. Like I said, learned a ton. It was awesome. And while I was working at Quicken Loans, I kept working at Rick's, of course. Didn't want to couldn't just work one job.
Yeah.
Not my thing, I guess.
Quicken Loans doesn't put you to work enough. You
Yeah,
might as well go
the
wipe
80,
some
90
tables.
hours a week at Quicken wasn't enough. I just had to go,
Right.
rip caps off beers from 11 to 3 a.m. A couple days a week, just because. So, kind of continued that whole multiple job mentality, and then loved Quicken Loans. Honestly, got burnt out because of bad leadership, which is rare. Quicken Loans they do a good job over there.
Yeah.
I don't really have too much of anything bad to say about my time there. Like I said, training, invest a lot of time into employees, good spot. I did have a bad leader, though. I'm not the only person that thinks that too. I'm not jaded here, but bad leadership pushed me out essentially. Combined with a couple other things. I was, 22, 23 years old. Yeah. There was a lot going on, but bad leadership ultimately pushed me out. And I ended up going to UWM after that, worked there for a little while, learned a lot, opened my eyes a lot to what was out there in the mortgage industry other than just retail, because I had no idea. Quicken Loans, they trained me, they did everything, they showed me.
You bled the
and I did red. It. Yeah, they hooked up the IV and I just kind of went with it, right? But going to UWM, I learned about brokers, I learned about wholesale, I learned about what we're doing now. And it really opened my eyes up, because I was like, oh my gosh, like this is way better than the rates that were available at Quicken Loans, way better costs, way faster turn times, faster approvals from underwrite. Like it was better. Right, it was really, truly better.
Service for the client.
Better service. If I was getting a mortgage, I would want, at this point, only knowing when I worked at Quicken Loans, if I was getting a mortgage, I would only ever get it from Quicken Loans. After looking from the outside and seeing what brokers can do, and actually physically putting my hands on it, I would never recommend anybody get a loan from retail again. Yeah. If they don't want to call us, that's fine, but don't go retail.
No doubt. Yeah, it's more expensive. I mean, they have to pay their VPs and all that.
Yeah, well, when you think retail and you think pricing, I mean, it is that simple. Mm-hmm. You're talking a retail branch, which is going to have a branch manager and a manager and a VP, and then there's going to be a branch that manages that branch. So you're going to have to pay 4 people out there.
Right.
Got to get the LO paid. You got to get the processor paid. You got to pay for the sign on the street. You got to pay for all the billboards that they put up.
Marketing.
You're paying for it.
Yeah.
Whereas when you come to a broker, you're usually, if they come to you, there's a loan officer and a processor that helps you, and then that's it. Yeah. There's not a bunch of hands in the jar. So learned a lot more at UWM, but I think after coming from Quicken Loans and then going to UWM, and I was honestly just kind of burnt out on the mortgage industry in general. Mm-hmm. I thought I was burnt out on the mortgage industry. I thought I didn't like mortgages. I think it turns out I just didn't really like writing mortgages for Quicken, and I was kind of just burnt out on the whole thing because of the way it went. But actually stepped away completely from mortgages, left mortgages in 2015, and took a role as an outside sales rep at a local company, selling refrigeration units for any transport refrigeration. So semi, train car, van, whatever, anything that's any temperature controlled thing that needed to be moved. I was selling the temperature control for that essentially. Good job, great people. Learned a ton there. I was dying though. It was killing me. It was a salary only job. It was a great job. It was salary. I had killer benefits. Health insurance was paid. Mm-hmm. I had a company car, I had a company phone, had a killer salary. I worked from 9 to 5. Yeah. My work ended at 5.
Could find some balance.
It didn't start at 9. Yeah, there was some balance. It was what I thought I wanted getting out of mortgages, because mortgages was this end of the spectrum where it was 100% commission, 100% hustle. You work when the phone rings. You do what you have to do. You grind hard. I was burnt out on that. At least I thought I was at the time. Mm-hmm. I went the complete opposite way. I went salary, 9 to 5, good benefits. When you start, when you end, exactly what's going on. And man, it was like anything else. I had the honeymoon period. I got in, and it was so awesome. It was great. I was home at 5. It was right down the street from my house. I was home at 5:15 every day. I knew when I could golf. I knew when I couldn't golf. I knew if I was doing something on a Saturday, it was very rare that my phone would ring and interrupt me, or whatever the case was. And through the honeymoon period, it was awesome. And then time ticked on like anything else, and the new of it kind of the shine of it kind of wore off, and I was not very happy. I mean, I was
Yeah,
really
just like
I was
knowing your
really just not.
personality in general, that you probably just got complacent, and that's not who you
I was
are.
working one job.
Right. Yeah. You
Um,
wanted to continue to find a hustle and work harder. So
yeah,
that makes total sense.
I was working one job, and I mean, it was good. Like I said, I wasn't.
Yeah.
Things were fine. But just mentally for me, things were not fine. Like it wasn't
Right.
okay. I missed it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
A friend of mine came over that had started being a real estate agent probably almost a year beforehand. He was
Mm-hmm.
coming up on his first full year in real estate. And I, at this point, had been out of it for going on maybe 2 years now,
Mm-hmm.
give or take. And I just kind of missed like the grind a little bit. And so he came over. I was actually re-gripping a golf club for him in my garage. And I was like, hey, man, like, how's real estate? Like, how do you like it? Because he had done nothing like it before.
Right,
So this
right,
was
right.
new to him. So how's it going, man? How do you like it? And he kind of caught me off guard a little bit, but he said, it's awesome. I love it. It's fun. I'm doing great. This and that. I'm building a referral network. It's going okay. I like it. I enjoy my work. He said, the biggest problem I have right now, though, is I can't find a good lender to refer my clients to. I was like, that light bulb, or whatever, I was like, ding. And I was like, well, my knee-jerk reaction to him, I think I actually said to him, I go, that's not a real problem.
Right, right.
And he was like, no, dude, for real. This guy doesn't call back. They used this guy, but he was rude. He was short or snippy or whatever because they had too many questions.
Right, right.
I used this guy, but he charged a $2,000 lender fee, and he did a great job. But I can't sit here and just know that my clients are paying $2,000 for nothing.
Right.
And so on and so forth. And so I kind of just cut him off, and I said, hey, man, if that's a real problem, I'll renew my mortgage license right now. Keep in mind, in the back of my mind, I'm depressed. I don't like what I'm doing. I want out of it.
Right.
I don't hate it, but I'm looking for something.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, dude, if that's a real problem, I'll get my mortgage license back right now. Started working with friends, started working with family. I obviously got to help you guys. And I was excited about it again. I was excited about what I was doing again. And I finally saw that I was going to have a way out. I was excited that I could get back into this and quit my 9 to 5. Guy that I was working for called a meeting, and it was right around Christmas time. I don't remember the exact date. I know it was beginning of December, I think, though. And because I remember being very excited, thinking I am a couple months away from quitting my 9 to 5 and kind of doing my own thing,
Having some flexibility, but
like being excited about it again, making commissions, all of that. So I was really fired up, and he called me and he basically fired me. He fired everybody, which I understand. He had a lot going on himself. He was a super successful broker himself. At the end of the day, he kind of did a time evaluation and deemed that it basically just decided that his time was better used taking care of his clients and writing their loans versus working with other bankers and other people and going through all that. And I get that. That's super time consuming.
I think that's something we've experienced on our own. People think running even any business, or you start to bring other people in, it just creates more time away from you and what you're doing. So by him doing that, completely makes sense.
I totally get. At the time, I didn't understand it. Now, being 5 years in business for myself as a mortgage broker, running business, I totally get where he's coming from. I get it.
Yeah.
I get where he was coming from, and I understand why it worked for him. So
now you're sitting there, no job. Well, you got your job, but
still my job.
You're still trying to figure out.
Not excited about it.
You got people that probably might even been pre-approved at the time.
I did. I had a couple people that I was working with, a couple people pre-approved. Fortunately, it didn't take too long for me to come to the next resolution. But yeah, I was bummed. So I sat there, had a pity party, felt sorry for myself for a little while, wondered what I was going to do, and kind of just reevaluated everything. And when I looked back through, I guess to rewind, The broker that I was working for, when he fired me, he did say, "Hey, I've already spoken to a bunch of other brokers that would love to have you on board. I already told them about you, that you don't take up a lot of my time, but or really any of it or whatever." But he said, "Hey, I know a couple people that would love to have you." He said, "I know a couple brokers that would love to have you if you want to go on board with them." And I, immediately kind of thought about it, but then as I sat there and continued to feel sorry for myself and kind of weigh my options and consider what was going on, I looked through my list of the people that I had worked with, you guys, and other
Mhm.
friends, other family, other people that were referred into me, and I realized that these people weren't working with me because I worked for any certain company
Right.
or anything like that. They were working with me because they knew me, they liked me, they trusted me, they wanted to work with me. So I decided if I was going to continue doing this, which I was at the time very keen on and very excited about, there was no reason that I shouldn't just do it for myself ultimately.
So here comes Mitten Mortgage Lending.
So there comes Mitten Mortgage Lending. As you know, when both you started, Max started, we were in my house in the back bedroom in Southgate there, which was
The good old
awesome.
days.
Yeah, we did a lot of work on the front porch. I
Yeah,
know too,
yeah,
the
yeah.
covered porch. When you used to Google us and see all of our 5-star reviews, you used to see a nice little picture of the house. Um, but yeah, so that was where it started, and the goal was to work for myself, have some flexibility, and make enough money that what I deemed was a good living. Um, it's funny how your goals change over the years because things certainly have changed, but I think the whole idea of what mid mortgage lending was supposed to be is still very true. We want to be a broker where you can get a great rate and have great costs, but we want you to have the best possible. We want you to be excited about a mortgage, which is not exciting at all, but we want you to have fun when you get it. And I really think that a lot of our clients enjoy getting a mortgage through us.
Yeah, and I think what we do. I guess if you say sell, I think we do more educate, but um, people can get mortgages from, like we talked about earlier, retail or whatever, and a brokerage. But like I I just feel like what we've done is create a customer service and almost like a friendly relationship with all of our clients, right? Like everybody I feel like can leave Mitten Mortgage Lending and say they had a good experience because they worked with us. It just shows genuine care when you walk somebody through the loan process and they leave the loan process understanding it and why we ask for things even though we don't really want to. But it just, I think that's what separates us from anybody truly.
100%. Yeah, the education piece. I mean, at the end of the day, we really want people to. I really want people to understand. Like
Yeah,
we want people to
it's a lot
know
of money.
what's going on. It's a ton of money. It's your largest investment for 99% of the world. It's going to be their largest investment, and you should have some questions. Honestly, there's all sorts of numbers being thrown at
Hmm.
you and all kinds of things going on. Don't just be uncomfortable and say it's okay. Just ask,
Yeah.
because we know exactly we know what's
Hmm.
going on, and we're happy to tell you what's going on. We want you to know what's going on because it's more fun for you if you know exactly what's going on. And it's not confusing. It's not scary. It's now fun. Like I'm acquiring this asset, and I know what it takes to get there and what's all involved too.
So yeah, now we moved from the back bedroom that was a few years back, and now we're sitting in this office in Wyandotte. What it take to get here, and did you ever foresee it being what it is today, and what it's going to be in the future?
No, not at all. I can't say no because I guess I always, you always hope or you always think, right? But no, not at all. I wasn't sure that anybody would ever work for Mitten Mortgage Lending other than myself. That was really not really the initial plan, but that there was no plan.
Right.
The plan was to work for myself and have some flexibility and provide a good living. So my goals have obviously changed. Now I want that same flexibility, and I want people to feel like they work for themselves, and I want them to be able to make a good living and all of the above. But man, how did we get here? We got here honestly just because of our referral partners and our past clients and those people just continuing to trust us and know that we're going to do the right thing because we are going to do the right thing
Hmm.
um, over and over again, man, and just honestly showing up every day
Yeah.
is as dumb as it is. People will
Answering
say
the phone.
showing up is just a part of it, but yeah, and And by showing up every day, yeah, right. I don't mean, someone's got to show up and sit in the office from 9 to 5
Right,
every
right,
day,
right.
but yeah, showing up every day in the sense of, your job as a mortgage officer is to answer the phone. There's days where you don't want to answer the phone or whatever the case is, but you got to answer the phone,
Yeah.
or you have to call people back, or whatever the case is. So I think just consistency is a huge key. I mean, I grew up watching two parents go to work every single day, no
Yeah.
matter what.
Hmm.
So that was, I think, an awesome thing to see and
Hmm.
watch. Um,
And you don't
because
realize it at the time, like
no,
what
at the
they're
time you have
doing.
no idea. It's just that it's normal, and you kind of do wonder, like, Mom, Dad, why don't you guys just stay home today,
Right,
or
right,
like,
right.
you could take a day off or whatever the case is,
Absolutely.
and because you hear and you see other people's parents doing it
Right.
too, so it's just like whatever, and yeah, and I don't think twice, never thought twice about it, but man, my mom and dad still go well. They're retired now, obviously, but
Recently.
fortunately, but yeah,
Yeah.
recently. But uh, man, just go to work every day, and just the consistency. I think of doing something every day.
Yeah.
It's
Well, it's crazy. Even when I got into it, I never even thought like it would get to where it's gotten today. But like when you do the right thing every day and you provide good service, you answer your phone, you set an expectation, and you have genuine good character, it just kind of makes sense that it's going to happen over a long period of time. But you have to remain patient because in this world, it can be a very instant gratification world, right? So this has taken a long time for us to get here.
It has. It's taken a long time for us to get here. Yeah, and the instant gratification part is tough because they're on the day to day. You don't win every day.
Hmm.
There's a lot of L's in there day to day, but if you win weekly or monthly at least and keep kind of moving the needle up, I mean, it's obviously crazy what happens over time. But yeah, I didn't think that we'd be here, but in the craziest way to say it, I don't think we could have stopped our growth
Yeah.
because we have back to the advertising and the marketing. We haven't really done any of it. It's all been completely organic
Hmm.
from just repeat referrals. So
Hmm.
it's almost it's growth. It's growth that we couldn't really stop. We
Yeah.
couldn't really help it
Absolutely.
if we wanted to.
So now that Mitten's gotten to where it's been or where it is now, what give me some at least a struggle or two that the company's had over that time period, whether it's scaling, whether it's marketing, whether it's personnel, what you've learned.
Yeah, scaling is tough, and it's so funny because you always have to look back and not dwell, but learn, and I think we've talked about that, but man, scaling, like going through the last kind of the craziness of the market, the up, and then I mean the very recently, way down.
Hmm.
We started kind of in a normal market and it instantly turned into a crazy market, which required immediate growth, immediate scaling, hiring,
Hmm.
onboarding, all of the above. And we went through it, did it as best I could. I'd never
Right,
done it
right.
before. So, did as good of a job as I thought that we could have. And I think everybody helped. It wasn't just me. We had a lot of
Hmm.
people in the office that were pitching in and helping and training and doing all those things because I think it is a big team effort. But
Hmm.
um, I mean, just going through that, watching that, and then watching, bringing on people, watching them all thrive because of the thriving market that we were in, but then also having to watch those same people ride the market back down where it wasn't so hot, and we have people that have moved on, or they're no longer here, or whatever the case is, and that part's not fun,
Hmm.
especially when I feel like we go to work every day, and like I work with my family, I work
Yeah.
with my friends,
Right,
like it's
right.
fun. So when that growth and the fun and all the celebration of it, which we were all there for, was awesome. But then you have the other side of it where it went down in the market, things got slow, and things weren't as busy as they were, and you have to downsize too. So it's not fun, but
Hmm.
that was some of the hardest stuff that I had to go through. But for me, I also didn't just go through it and have to go through these emotions. I, am a little bit more cognizant now of what does have to
Hmm.
happen, and just how things work from running a mortgage business standpoint. I mean, the market is up, the market is down.
Yeah.
We try to, have our personnel be pretty level and
Hmm.
keep everything pretty straight, but just kind of having to go through some of the necessities of dealing with the market was not fun, but it's certainly something that I learned from. So we'll know how to do it better next time it happens, for sure. Right?
Absolutely. So, I mean, you wear a lot of hats. It's not only Mitten Mortgage Lending, you own a couple other businesses as well, and some rental properties, property management, all that. Getting just back to being an entrepreneur, and how do you get to utilize your time? How do you find balance and recently engaged? How do you balance all that?
I don't know.
Just
It's
do it.
yeah, it's really, and it's actually funny. You said just do it. My grandpa, who passed away like 2 years ago now, just super hard worker, super hardworking guy. He took care of his wife. He took care of his son with disabilities his whole life and all that. And he was actually asked. He was interviewed. He used to do Meals on Wheels, so he had all this other stuff that was going on, but he still used to find time to drive hot meals to people that needed them. And he got honored by, I don't know if it was the city of Lincoln Park. It might have been Wayne County. It was an honor that he received. And they had him somewhere. And he was a man of like almost no words, for anybody that knows my grandpa.
When he talks, people listen.
Well, he just never had anything to say. Not anything good to say. He just didn't have much to say. Yeah. He was, a different generation, right? But they asked him. They said, "How do you do it?" And he literally said, it just triggered in my mind because you just said it. His answer, his interview, his moment of fame was, "You just do it."
Yeah. No,
which is funny, but you just do it.
You do the best with the cards you're dealt, I think, at times, which sometimes even you find internal struggles with. Like sometimes, I'd love to spend more time with my kid if I could, but I understand I got to work to be able to put, food on the table.
Yeah.
And, but I think you just have to do it and figure out what works for you.
Yeah, you just do it. You definitely have to figure out what works for you. You need a supportive team. Like obviously the people all around me, Mac, you, Katie, our entire team is super supportive. You guys know that I'm all over, but it's okay. And I'll always get back to you guys. Sometimes it's not as quick as it should be, or for whatever the case may be. But the team around you and the support around you, my fiance is super supportive and understanding, even if we have something planned.
Or if I call you on a Friday at 9:30.
Yeah, you call me with information, or people
I apologize to her first.
She knows that my phone's going to ring with whatever the case may be. I mean, even on the flip side of that, some of my other stuff, property management or whatever other businesses, like furnaces don't break at convenient times, pipes don't burst at a good time, or whatever the case is. So having the people around me understand that this is just how I am, and it's how it's going to be. But also making sure that you focus on those things too, right? You have to, at a certain time, shut off all this and, focus on other things too. So I think just dedicating time and just being cognizant of what you want, like what you focus on, you will find. And I mean, there's a way to make it all happen. And especially if you have a supportive team around you, because I don't do it all at Mitten Mortgage Lending. I don't even do half of it now. But the fact that I have a team that works hard and is supportive is really what allows us to do it.
Yeah, that's totally true. Well, I mean, I can't thank you enough for everything you've done for me and my family, and I think I speak on behalf of everybody here at Mitten Mortgage Lending for your hard work. I mean, I've seen you work the 8 a.m.s to 9, 10, even 11 p.m. at times. And,
I've sent you guys some late nights.
And you've also helped us grow. So, we appreciate you here, and keep doing what you're doing. And we'll talk about other, businesses you have in the future. And I'm sure I'll have you back on. It's my first
Plenty
one.
Of time. I can't wait to come back. I'll tell you that.
Thanks a lot, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Keep up the good work.